Hello ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 34th episode of Final Round. I'm Black Squeak and this fascist prick is Gibby.
For the last time, I'm not fascist. I'm just not as open-minded with races than you are. Tonight will be our review of UFC 103. And pretty much apart from the sub-main event, the fights didn't last frigging long.
First up was Tyson Griffin against Hermes Franca. Griffin just dominated this fight as soon as the bell rung. His striking ability from his kicks and punches were just too much for Franca to cope with.
Now will you agree with me that Franca, since he returned from suspension, is shit? Griffin is no special fighter and Franca just couldn't cope. He took as much beating as any wife of Ike Turner's. Seriously, it was like watching him in a car crash, fucking bad performance. But Griffin needed the win here, and he has to keep his momentum going.
Up next was Frank Trigg against, as you love to call him, Josh the Cunt Koscheck. Nothing really to talk about here as the fight lasted just over a minute, where both fighters were pacing themselves before the knockout punch. Koscheck needed this win badly, and maybe now he can get further up in the welterweight division.
This reminds me that, unless you're Randy Couture, don't let pensioners try to beat the fuck out of cunts like Koscheck. Seriously, how hard can it be to beat this asshole?
Why don't you try yourself, you fucking nipple?
How about I shove this tennis racket up your fucking rectum, you fucking queer fuck? But yes, whoever beats Josh Koscheck, I will get down and suck their dicks with a smile on my face.
And you call me the queer one, fuck. Next up was Paul Daly in his UFC debut against Martin Kampmann. Mike Swick was unable to compete due to injury, so Daly stepped in. This was a good striking war with Daly hitting a load of combinations. But the big question was the stoppage. People are split about whether Kampmann wasn't defending himself or was in a stand-up position.
I've seen this stoppage again, and I think what gives the ref his decision was the shaking of his legs, loss of balance by leaning against the cage, while Daly was bombarding him with punches. He wasn't coping defense-wise with Daly's punches, and moving all over the place. I think it was the right decision by the ref to call a stoppage. A great debut for Paul Daly, and we may now see him fight Swick.
Now on to the sub-main event of the evening between Mirko Cro Cop and Junior Dos Santos. Cro Cop and the cage just do not blend well for some reason. He was just poor from the start. But this is a great performance from Dos Santos, easily his best in the UFC. He's now got two big-named heavyweights on his win record. Maybe it's time Dos Santos moves up further into the heavyweight division.
I think the kick in the balls pissed Santos off. But seriously, what the fuck has happened to Cro Cop? This is his worst ever UFC fight. He reminds me of Czech Congo as they both have so much momentum going, then it's all gone in one poor fight. Don't get me wrong, Dos Santos was fantastic, great win for the kid, but I just wonder, was Cro Cop even trying?
So do you think we'll get Cro Cop and Nogueira now?
No. Not after that performance. If he had done better, I think Minotauro would have been next for him. But Dos Santos will get another big-name fight, maybe loser of Brock and Carwin or Mir in Congo. Hell, even Gonzaga would be great for him.
On to the main event of UFC 103 between Vitor Belfort and Rich Franklin, and all I can say is the Phenom is back.
Terrific win for the Phenom, who reassures everyone with that fight that he's for real. I'm foaming at the mouth at the possibility of him fighting the Silvas, Nate the Great, maybe even Henderson, if you can convince him. But Franklin's on and off performance in the octagon continues, and he really has to stop that if he wants to make any further progress in the UFC.
The Phenom will get another big-name fight. Maybe Vanderlei Silva or Nate the Great would be ideal for him. He won't get Anderson as he'll be facing Henderson. As for Franklin, maybe Forrest Griffin or Keith Jardine?
Franklin won't do well in the light heavyweight division. But never say never in the octagon. Look at the Dos Santos win.
Very true. That is it for us today. We'll be back for UFC 105 predictions and Strikeforce predictions. Plus Gibby will have an announcement regarding our wrestling predictions. See you all later.